The alien queen suddenly collapsed. The human guard discovered the hidden cause. Olivia Martinez stood at attention outside the royal chamber of Queen Zylara. Her assignment as a human diplomatic guard on the Xanthari homeworld was supposed to be routine, but nothing prepared her for what happened next. The massive doors to the royal chamber burst open as panicked alien attendants rushed out screaming in their clicking language. Olivia understood enough to know something was terribly wrong. With the queen without hesitation, she rushed inside while the other guards scattered in fear. Inside the grand chamber with its towering crystal columns and bioluminescent walls, Queen Zylara lay sprawled across her floating throne platform. Her normally iridescent blue skin had turned a sickly gray, her 6 limbs twitching uncontrollably. Approaching cautiously, Olivia noticed something no one else had. The queen's breathing apparatus was malfunctioning, tiny bubbles forming in the liquid oxygen mixture. Xantharians breathed differently than humans. Their atmospheric requirements were precise and complex. Years ago, Olivia had worked maintenance on the first human space station that hosted Xantharian diplomats. She recognized the pattern. In the breathing fluid, something was causing microscopic crystal formations. Acting quickly, Olivia reached for her emergency kit, pulling out a small device humans used for testing water purity on alien worlds. It wasn't designed for this purpose, but her instincts told her it might work. She carefully extracted a small sample of the queen's breathing fluid. The scanner revealed trace amounts of a compound that was harmless to humans, but potentially fatal to Xantharians. Someone had been slowly poisoning the queen. Looking around the chamber, Olivia spotted subtle differences in the royal breathing apparatus compared to the backup unit nearby. Someone had tampered with the filtration system, causing a slow buildup of toxins. Karanguyan, the human ambassador, rushed in with several high-ranking Xantharians following behind. "What is happening? Is she alive?" one of them demanded. "The queen has been poisoned," Olivia explained, showing them the scanner results. "The primary breathing apparatus has been modified to allow silicon compounds to accumulate over time. I think I can reverse it if we transfer her to the backup system and flush her respiratory system with the purification solution from my kit." The Xantharians hesitated, unsure if they should trust a human with their queen's life. Olivia stood firm. "We have 15 minutes before permanent damage occurs. The choice is yours." The Xantharians argued among themselves, their mandibles clicking rapidly until the oldest among them stepped forward. "Proceed, human," she said, working quickly. Olivia directed the transfer to the backup system, while she prepared a mixture from her medical supplies designed for human deep space divers, but modified based on her knowledge of Xantharian biology. The chief medical officer of the Xantharian palace arrived. Her name was Valix. She examined Olivia's work with all 4 of her eyes, observing carefully. "Human, what are you doing?" she asked, her voice translator making her sound uncertain. "Saving your queen," Olivia replied, not looking up from her work. "The compound is breaking down her respiratory filters, but this solution should neutralize it and give her body time to recover." Valix watched intently as Olivia worked. The human was using techniques no Xantharian would have considered. Their medical approaches were based on completely different foundations. Yet the logic was sound as Olivia administered the treatment. The room fell silent. The only sound was the soft hum of the queen's life support system's. Minutes stretched on, feeling like hours. Then suddenly Queen Zylara's eyes began to flutter, her skin gradually returning to its normal blue color. A wave of clicking and whistling erupted from the Xantharians as they celebrated. "Ambassador." Kara approached Olivia, placing a hand on her shoulder. "That was incredible. How did you know what to do?" "I didn't," Olivia admitted. "I just recognized the pattern from my old maintenance job and made an educated guess based on the differences between our species." Word of Olivia's actions spread quickly throughout the palace and beyond. A human with basic knowledge had saved their queen when their best medical minds had been paralyzed with indecision. Queen Zylara recovered fully within days, but the question remained who had poisoned her, and why. Security was increased throughout the palace, with Olivia assigned as the queen's personal guard, much to the dismay of some Xantharian officials. Late one night, as Olivia stood guard outside the queen's private chambers, she noticed a shadow moving strangely along the corridor. It seemed to flicker in ways that didn't match the lighting. Trusting her instincts, Olivia moved quietly. Following the shadow, it led her to a rarely used service tunnel. Near the palace's water purification system there, she discovered a Xantharian male installing a device on one of the main pipes. Freeze, Olivia commanded, drawing her weapon. The Xantharian spun around his secondary limbs, reaching for something at his side. Olivia fired a warning shot. The energy pulse hitting the wall beside him. Palace guards arrived within moments, taking the intruder into custody. The device he was planting would have introduced the same toxin into the entire palace's water supply, affecting not just the queen but hundreds of others. During interrogation, the would-be assassin revealed he was working for a rival hive, attempting to weaken the Xantharian leadership before a planned invasion. Queen Xylara summoned Olivia to her chambers the next morning. The queen's full council was present, all 12 high ministers staring at the human with their multiple eyes. You have saved not only my life but potentially our entire government, the queen said, her voice translator conveying genuine emotion. The assassin has confessed to being part of a plot by the Vorgath hive. They planned to attack while we were in disarray. Olivia bowed slightly. I was just doing my job, Your Majesty. The queen rose to her full height, towering over Olivia. No human, you did far more than your assigned duties. You showed courage and initiative when even our own people faltered. For this reason, I am naming you Royal Protector, the first human to ever hold such a title. Gasps and clicks of surprise echoed through the chamber. Such an honor had never been granted to an off-worlder before. One of the ministers stepped forward. My queen, this is unprecedented. The Royal Protector has always been Xantharian Queen. Xylara fixed all 4 of her eyes on the minister. Many things are unprecedented, Minister Traz, including a human saving a Xantharian queen. Perhaps it is time for new precedents. Olivia was stunned by the honor, but she knew accepting the position would involve challenges no human had faced before. The Royal Protector would be responsible for the queen's safety, would have access to Xantharian secrets, and would need to navigate complex alien politics. Do you accept this position? Human, the queen asked. Olivia took a deep breath and nodded. I accept, Your Majesty. I will protect you with my life. The royal vessel Luminous Mandate prepared for departure from Xantharian space. The ship was massive, designed to support the queen's unique biological needs while accommodating both Xantharian and human crew members. Olivia supervised the final security checks, personally inspecting the queen's quarters and reviewing the crew manifest. She worked closely with Commander Krez, who had become a valuable ally. The journey to Earth would take 14 days. Even with the advanced drive systems, they would pass through 3 contested sectors where purist sympathizers might be hiding. Susan Kim, the human ambassador to the Xantharian Empire, joined Olivia on the bridge. She looked concerned. We just received intelligence that purist activity has increased in the Kalar sector that's directly on our route. Olivia studied the star charts. Kalar was a busy trading hub with hundreds of ships passing through daily. The perfect place for an ambush. We should consider altering our course, she suggested. Maybe. Through the Valnar Nebula, Commander Krez clicked his mandibles in disagreement. The nebula would add 3 days to our journey, and the electromagnetic interference would blind our sensors. The nebula is exactly why we should go that way, Olivia countered. If our sensors don't work well, neither will theirs. Sometimes the best defense is being hard to find, not hard to fight. After much debate, Queen Xylara sided with Olivia's recommendation. The nebula route would be safer, even if longer. The queen's safety was worth the delay as the Luminous Mandate changed course. Olivia felt a sense of unease. Something about the intelligence report bothered her. She requested access to the raw data, not just the summary. Late that night, while most of the crew slept, Olivia discovered a pattern. The reported purist activities seemed too perfectly placed along their original route, almost as if someone wanted them to change course. She immediately contacted Commander Krez and Ambassador Kim, sharing her suspicions. I think the intelligence was planted, she explained. Someone wanted us to take the nebula route. Krez was skeptical. Why would the purists want us to avoid their ambush? It's not an ambush, it's a trap, Olivia replied. The nebula doesn't just affect sensors. It would force us to travel at sublight speed, making us vulnerable if someone was waiting at the exit point. Ambassador Kim paled with realization. We need to alert the captain immediately. The Luminous Mandate reversed course, returning to the original route, but with enhanced security measures, Olivia suggested they send a decoy ship through the nebula, while the royal vessel took a third unexpected path. 3 days into the journey, Olivia's suspicions were confirmed. The decoy ship was attacked at the nebula exit point by what appeared to be merchant vessels that suddenly revealed hidden weapons. Meanwhile, their own ship continued safely on the original route. Queen Zylara summoned Olivia to her royal chamber. The queen's breathing apparatus hummed softly as she floated in her suspension fluid. You saw through their deception, royal protector. How Olivia considered the question. The information was too perfect. Your Majesty, real intelligence is messy. It has gaps and contradictions. This report lined up too neatly. The queen made a sound that Olivia's translator interpreted as laughter. You humans see patterns even in the absence of information. This continues to fascinate me. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent alert from the bridge. Unknown vessels approaching from multiple vectors. Commander Krez reported Olivia rushed to the bridge with the queen following in her hovering throne platform. Several ships had appeared seemingly out of nowhere surrounding the luminous mandate. They don't match any known purist vessels, Ambassador, Kim said, studying the sensor readings. No. Olivia agreed, but look at their approach pattern. It's a standard Xantharian military formation. Commander Krez examined the tactical display. She is right, these are military-trained pilots, but if they are not purists, who are they? The answer came when the lead vessel hailed them, identifying themselves as the true guardian servants of the royal bloodline. You carry a false queen, they declared. The true heir to the Xantharian throne demands you surrender. Queen Zylara moved forward, her posture rigid with anger. I am the rightful queen. Who dares claim otherwise? A Xantharian female appeared on the view screen. She looked remarkably similar to Zylara, but with subtle differences in her carapace markings. I am Zylar, daughter of the royal brood mother before you. Your younger clutch sister. Ambassador Kim looked confused to Olivia. Your Majesty, I thought you were the only royal offspring queen. Zylara emitted a low hissing sound. There was another egg in my clutch, but it was damaged during an attack on the royal hatchery. The healers said the offspring did not survive. Zylar laughed bitterly. They lied. Sister, I was hidden away, raised by loyalists who knew the throne was rightfully mine. I have returned to claim it. The situation had just become far more complicated. This wasn't just about purists hating outsiders. This was a succession crisis that had been brewing for decades. Commander Krez signaled to Olivia that defensive systems were ready, but they were outnumbered. The luminous mandate was a diplomatic vessel, not a warship. Olivia needed time to think. She whispered to Ambassador Kim, keep them talking while I work on a plan. While the two Xantharian royals argued their claims, Olivia studied the sensor readings of the enemy vessels, noticing something unusual about their energy signatures. They were running hot, as if their systems were being pushed beyond normal parameters. She quietly accessed the ship's communication system, sending a coded message to Earth requesting immediate assistance, then turned to Commander Krez. How long can our shields hold against their weapons? Approximately 20 minutes at full power. He replied. What are you thinking? Royal Protector Olivia pointed to a nearby star system. Their ships are running their engines beyond safety limits. They can't maintain this for long. If we can reach the heliopause of that star, we might get protection from the solar winds enough to disrupt their targeting systems. It was a desperate plan, but Queen Zylara approved immediately, ordering the captain to make for the star at maximum speed. The sudden change in direction caught Zylar's fleet by surprise, giving the luminous mandate a head start as they approached the star. Olivia worked with the engineering team to modify the shields, focusing them toward the pursuing vessels when they hit the stellar wind boundary. The luminous mandate shuddered violently. Now, Olivia commanded. The engineers reversed the shield polarity, creating a ripple effect through the solar wind behind them. Several of Zylar's smaller ships spun out of control, their navigation systems overwhelmed by the electromagnetic surge. A human voice came through the communication system. This is Captain Morgan of the USS Defender, responding to your distress call. Luminous mandate, we are inbound with 3 escort vessels, Zylar's remaining. Ships broke off pursuit, retreating into the darkness. The immediate danger had passed, but the revelation of a rival queen changed everything. This was no longer just a diplomatic journey. but a mission that could determine the future of the Xantharian Empire. In the aftermath, Queen Xylara called her advisors. Together we must continue to Earth, she declared now more than ever. We need the human alliance. My sister will not stop with this one attack. Olivia agreed but added, we need to be prepared for anything. Your Majesty, Xylar might have supporters on Earth as well. The revelation of a second royal had profound implications for Xantharian society. For generations they had believed in the sanctity of the single queen system. Now that belief was threatened, as the luminous mandate rendezvoused. With the human vessels, Olivia coordinated security with Captain Morgan. A veteran of many diplomatic missions, the journey to Earth will still be dangerous. Captain Morgan warned. We have reports of unrest in some human colonies sympathetic to the Xantharian traditionalists. Olivia nodded. Some humans fear change as much as the purists do. This alliance threatens those who profit from division. Queen Xylara observed the human vessels through the viewport. Your species continues to surprise me. Royal Protector, when I was a hatchling, we believed humans were simple creatures concerned only with conquest. Now I see we were wrong. You are complex like us, capable of both great wisdom and great follies. Earth appeared on their sensors, a small, blue marble against the vastness of space. Olivia felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. The success of this mission could determine the relationship between humans and Xantharians for generations to come. Commander Krez joined her. At the viewport, a historic moment, he said, the first Xantharian queen to visit Earth. Many of my people thought this day would never come. Olivia smiled. Sometimes the impossible becomes possible when we have no other choice. The first weeks as Royal Protector were challenging for Olivia. She had to learn Xantharian royal protocols, study the palace layout, and understand the complex political relationships between the different hives. Many Xantharians, especially those in the military, were unhappy with her appointment. They believed a human could never truly understand their ways or be trusted with such responsibility. Commander Krez, the head of the palace security, made his feelings clear during their first meeting. You may have impressed the Queen Human, but do not think you understand our world. He said, his mandibles clicking aggressively. I have served the royal hive for 20 cycles. You have been here less than one. Olivia remained calm, facing the tall insectoid alien whose carapace bore the scars of many battles. I understand your concern, Commander. I don't expect to replace your knowledge or experience. I hope we can work together to keep the Queen safe. Krez seemed surprised by her response. He had expected defiance or arrogance. Instead, he found respect. I will be watching you, human, he said before leaving. Olivia knew she needed allies within the palace. She found an unexpected one in Valax, the chief medical officer who had witnessed her saving the Queenie. Have been studying your solution, Valax told Olivia during a private meeting. It was brilliant, using human diving compounds to neutralize the toxin. Our scientists would never have made that connection. Our approaches to medicine are too different. Thank you, Olivia replied. But I just got lucky. Valax shook her head, her antennae twitching. No, luck is not the right word. What you humans call intuition. The ability to make connections between seemingly unrelated things. This is rare among Xantharians. We are more linear in our thinking. This conversation gave Olivia an idea. Perhaps the differences between humans and Xantharians could be a strength rather than a weakness. She began studying Xantharian security protocols, looking for blind spots, areas where their linear thinking might miss potential threats. 3 weeks after becoming Royal Protector, Olivia accompanied Queen Xylara to the annual gathering of Hive representatives. It was a tense political event, bringing together competing factions, including the Vorgath Hive, who had attempted to assassinate the Queen. The gathering took place in the ancient Chamber of Unity, a massive underground cavern with stone columns carved thousands of years ago, when Xantharians first united, under a single queen. Olivia stood behind the Queen's throne platform, scanning the crowd, her eyes noticing details that the Xantharian guards might miss: subtle body language among the Vorgath representatives, unusual movements near the service entrances. During the main address, Olivia noticed a maintenance worker adjusting something on the ceiling supports. This was odd, as all maintenance was supposed to be completed before the gathering. She quietly activated her communicator. Commander Krez, there is a worker on the northeast support column. This wasn't in the schedule. Krez checked his datapad and responded immediately. You are correct, Royal Protector, no? Maintenance was authorized. Olivia didn't wait. She moved quickly through the crowd, approaching the column. The worker saw her coming and abandoned all pretense, dropping from the support and running toward a side exit. Olivia pursued while signaling the security team. The fleeing Xantharian was faster on the open ground, but Olivia had studied the palace layout thoroughly. She took a shortcut through a service corridor, cutting off the escaping worker. Cornered, the assassin drew a weapon, a small energy pistol. Olivia rolled behind a column as the first shot sizzled past her ear. The security team was still minutes away and the assassin was moving toward another exit. Olivia had to act. She removed a small canister from her belt. It contained a harmless but dense smoke compound used in human emergency protocols. She rolled the canister toward the assassin who fired at it. The canister burst, filling the corridor with thick smoke. Xantharians with their compound eyes had difficulty seeing through particulate matter, while humans with their simpler eyes could still discern shapes. Using this advantage, Olivia tackled the confused assassin, knocking the weapon from his hand and pinning him to the floor. When Commander Krez arrived with his team, they found Olivia restraining the would-be killer. The assassin was from the Vorgath hive, just as they had suspected, but this time he carried a more sophisticated weapon, one that would have collapsed the ancient ceiling supports, killing everyone at the gathering, including his own hive's representatives. It was a suicide mission, Commander, Krez said, examining the device they recovered. This would have triggered a chain reaction, destroying the entire chamber. He would have died along with everyone else. Why would the Vorgath sacrifice their own representatives? Olivia wondered. The answer came during interrogation. The assassin wasn't working for the Vorgath leadership at all, but for a third party, a mysterious group calling themselves the Purists, who opposed all cooperation between hives, and especially with alien species like humans. The Purists believed that Xantharian society had grown weak through cooperation and diplomacy. They wanted to trigger a war between the major hives that would return their species to its primitive state of constant conflict, which they saw as natural and strengthening. Queen Xylara called an emergency meeting of her advisors, including Olivia, Commander Krez, and representatives from the other major hives, including the Vorgath. This threat affects all of us. The Queen declared these Purists would destroy everything our ancestors built, our unity, our progress, all in the name of some misguided vision of strength. The Vorgath representative stepped forward. We admit some in our hive attempted to poison you, Queen Xylara, but we did not authorize this attack at the gathering. We do not seek the destruction of all hives. Olivia listened carefully, noticing how the representatives positioned themselves, some clustering together, others maintaining distance. These subtle behaviors revealed alliances and tensions that formal speeches did not. After the meeting, Olivia approached Commander Krez. I think we need to reorganize security. He said we focus too much on known threats from rival hives, but these Purists operate differently. They exploit our assumptions. Krez considered her words for a moment. You may be right, Royal Protector. Our security is designed to stop traditional assassins, not fanatics willing to die for their cause. Together, Olivia and Krez developed new security protocols, incorporating both Xantharian thoroughness and human adaptability. They trained teams to think less linearly, to consider unexpected angles of attack. Their collaboration did not go unnoticed. Queen Xylara observed how the human and the Xantharian commander had moved from suspicion to respect. The Queen believed this alliance represented the future of her species. During a private audience with Olivia, the Queen shared her vision. I did not appoint you Royal Protector simply for your actions. In saving my life, she said, I did it because our species needs to learn from each other. Humans see patterns where we see only facts. You find connections where we see separation. Olivia was honored by the Queen's trust, but also concerned the Purists represented a dangerous ideology, one that could spread among those who feared change or outsiders. The next day, reports arrived of attacks on human diplomatic outposts on Xantharian colony worlds. The Purists were expanding their campaign, targeting the very symbol of cooperation between species. Queen Xylara made an unprecedented decision. She would travel to Earth to address the human leadership directly to strengthen the alliance between their species. It would be the first time a Xantharian queen had ever left their home. System Olivia knew this journey would be dangerous. The purists would see it as the ultimate betrayal of Xantharian purity, but she also understood its importance. Sometimes the greatest security came not from walls and weapons, but from building bridges. As preparations for the historic journey began, Olivia worked tirelessly with both human and Xantharian security teams. The success of this mission would depend on their ability to work together, combining the strengths of both species. Commander Krez approached Olivia as she reviewed the shuttle security plans. "I was wrong about you, human," he admitted. "You have earned your place as royal protector." Olivia smiled. "I still have much to learn about your ways." Commander Krez made the Xantharian gesture of respect, touching his primary limbs together. "You learn quickly, royal protector. Perhaps it is time I learned some human ways as well." Their newfound alliance would soon be tested as the journey to Earth would take them through dangerous territory. Where the purists had already gained influence, the greatest challenge was just beginning. The luminous mandate entered Earth orbit under heavy escort. Human and Xantharian security teams worked side by side, preparing for the Queen's arrival at the Global Unity Center in Geneva. Olivia had never expected to return to Earth as the royal protector of an alien queen. She stood on the bridge watching her home planet grow larger in the view screen. "It's beautiful," Commander Krez said, standing beside her. "I understand now why humans fought so hard to protect it." "Yes," Olivia replied, "but it's not perfect. We have our own divisions, our own versions of purists. The landing would be the most vulnerable moment. Queen Xylara would be exposed during the transfer from ship to ground transport." Olivia coordinated with Earth security forces, insisting on several decoy vehicles and multiple route options. Amelia Foster, the Earth Secretary General, personally greeted them when they landed, her diplomatic team standing alongside an honor guard from both species. "Welcome to Earth, Queen Xylara." "Secretary," Foster said, bowing slightly. "We are honored by your historic visit." The Queen moved forward, her hovering platform adjusted for Earth's gravity. "The honor is mine, Secretary Foster. I come seeking to strengthen the bonds between our worlds, especially in the face of those who would divide us." The formal reception moved to the Global Unity Center, a massive structure of glass and steel designed to accommodate diplomatic delegations from dozens of worlds. Olivia remained vigilant, her eyes constantly scanning for threats. Ambassador Kim approached her during a brief pause in the ceremonies. "You seem tense, Olivia," she observed. "With good reason," Olivia replied, lowering her voice. "Gilar's supporters could be anywhere, and we still don't know the full extent of the purist network. They could have human allies." The first day of diplomatic meetings went smoothly with Queen Xylara, impressing the Earth representatives with her knowledge of human culture and history. The public announcement of expanded trade agreements and cultural exchanges was met with widespread approval, but not everyone welcomed the closer ties between humans and Xantharians outside the center. Small but vocal groups of protesters gathered. Some humans held signs warning against alien influence. Others were Xantharians who believed their queen had betrayed their traditions. Olivia watched the news reports with Commander Krez, noting the different perspectives shown on various networks. Some emphasized the economic benefits of the alliance, others focused on fears of cultural contamination. "We face similar divisions on our homeworld," Krez observed. "There will always be those who fear change." Olivia nodded. "That's why this visit must succeed. We need to show that cooperation brings benefits to both our peoples." That night, Olivia received an encrypted message on her personal communicator. "Meet me at the old observatory midnight. Come alone." Information about Gilar. She considered reporting this immediately, but something held her back. This could be a trap, or it could be a legitimate source too. Afraid to go through official channels, Olivia decided on a compromise. She told Commander Krez about the message but insisted on meeting the source alone. "I'll wear a tracker," she said, "and I'll have you standing by with a response team." Krez disagreed strongly. "It's too dangerous. You are the royal protector." "That's exactly why I need to go," Olivia argued. "If this source has legitimate information about Gilar, it could protect the Queen." Reluctantly, Krez agreed but insisted on positioning security teams nearby. The old observatory stood on a hill outside Geneva, its domed roof open to the night sky. Olivia approached cautiously, Her hand near her weapon, a figure emerged from the shadows. A human woman in her 50s with short gray hair and the bearing of a soldier. Michelle Rivers. She introduced herself. Former human intelligence officer. I served during the first contact with Xantharians. Olivia remained wary. Why contact me this way? Rivers glanced around nervously. What I have to tell you would get me killed if certain people knew I was talking to you. Jillar is not working alone. She has powerful backers, both Xantharian and human. Prove it, Olivia said. Rivers handed her a data crystal. This contains communication logs between Jillar's supporters and a human corporation called Terragenesis. They specialize in terraforming technology. Why would a terraforming company support a Xantharian royal claim? Olivia asked Drivers. Expression darkened because Queen Xylaris' environmental protection treaties have cost them billions. They want access to Xantharian colony worlds for unrestricted terraforming. Jillar has promised them this in exchange for support. Livia examined the data crystal. It seemed authentic but would need verification. Why are you telling me this? Rivers looked up at the stars. My daughter married a Xantharian diplomat. I have grandchildren who are half Xantharian. I want them to grow up in a world where our species work together, not one torn apart by those who profit from division. After returning to the security perimeter, Olivia shared the information with Commander Krez and Ambassador Kim. The data crystal contained detailed plans for disrupting the Queen's visit, including a potential assassination attempt during the final address to the Earth Council. We need to verify this, Olivia said, but if it's accurate, the threat is imminent. Ambassador Kim used her diplomatic channels to investigate Terragenesis. While Commander Krez consulted with Xantharian intelligence, their findings confirmed Rivers' information. The corporation had made several secret payments to organizations linked to Jillar's supporters. Queen Xylara received the news calmly. So my sister has found allies among your people as well, she said to Olivia. It is as I feared, greed transcends species. The final day of the Queen's visit would include an address to the full Earth Council broadcast throughout human and Xantharian space. Olivia worked with security teams to implement enhanced measures without alerting potential assassins to their knowledge. As the hour approached, Olivia noticed a maintenance worker adjusting the environmental controls near the main chamber. Something about his movements seemed off. She approached casually, asking to see his identification. The worker fumbled with his badge. Olivia noticed a small device in his other hand. Without hesitation, she grabbed his arm, twisting it behind his back, and calling for security. The device was a dispersal mechanism designed to release a toxin into the chamber's air system. One harmless to humans, but deadly to Xantharians, specifically calibrated to affect the Queen's unique biology under interrogation. The would-be assassin revealed he was a Terragenesis employee, acting on direct orders from the corporation's leadership. They had planned to blame the Queen's death on radical human groups opposed to alien influence, hoping to trigger a war between the species. Secretary Foster was appalled by the revelation. I promise you, Queen Xylara, those responsible will face justice. The Queen regarded the secretary with all four eyes. It seems we both have enemies who fear our alliance. They understand what many of our own people do not, that together humans and Xantharians are stronger than either would be alone. Despite the attempt, the Queen insisted on proceeding with her address to the Council. She would not show fear or allow terrorists to silence her. The Grand Chamber of the Earth Council was filled to capacity. Representatives from every human nation and colony world gathered to hear the Xantharian Queen. Olivia stood beside the Queen's platform, her eyes constantly scanning the crowd. Commander Krez and his team positioned at strategic points throughout the chamber. Queen Xylara began speaking, her translator conveying her words clearly. People of Earth, I come before you not just as a queen, but as a fellow traveler on the path to understanding. Spoke of the challenges both species had faced, their mistakes and triumphs, their fears and hopes. She acknowledged the purists and those like Terragenesis who sought to divide them for profit or ideology. But she also spoke of Olivia, how a human guard had saved her life, how together they had uncovered plots that neither species could have detected alone. She spoke of Commander Krez, who had moved from suspicion to respect. We are different, she declared, our biology, our history, our ways of thinking, but in those differences lies our greatest strength together. We see what neither could see alone. We solve problems that would defeat us separately. As she concluded her address, the chamber erupted in applause. Many of the council members, rising to their feet, even some who had been skeptical of the alliance, were moved by her word. Olivia remained vigilant, even as she felt pride in what they had accomplished. The path forward would not be easy. There would be more attempts to undermine the alliance, more efforts by Gilar and her supporters to seize power. But something had changed that day. A Xantharian queen had stood before the leaders of humanity and spoken not of conquest or competition, but of cooperation and mutual respect as they prepared to depart Earth. Queen Xylara turned to Olivia. "You have served as my protector, but you have done far more than that. Royal protector, you have helped forge a new path for both our people." Olivia bowed slightly. "I did what I believed was right, Your Majesty." The queen made a gesture Olivia had never seen before, touching her primary limb to Olivia's shoulder in Xantharian culture. This was a mark of the highest respect, one rarely given even to other Xantharians. As the luminous mandate lifted off from Earth, Secretary Foster watched alongside Ambassador Kim. "Do you think it will last?" she asked the alliance. Kim smiled. "It has to. Both our futures depend on it. And with people like Olivia and Commander Krez building bridges, I believe it will." 6 months after the historic Earth visit, Olivia stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Alliance embassy on the Xantharian homeworld. The massive structure incorporated elements of both species architecture, with spiral towers reminiscent of Xantharian hives alongside clean human lines. The embassy represented more than just a diplomatic outpost. It was a symbol of the growing cooperation between their worlds. In the aftermath of Queen Xylara's journey, trade had increased by 300%, cultural exchanges had flourished, and joint scientific projects were making breakthroughs in medicine, agriculture, and space exploration. Commander Krez joined her at the viewport, his carapace now bearing the gold markings of the Royal Guard Captain, a promotion he had received for his role in protecting the Queen. The Terrigenesis leadership has been convicted. He informed her they will spend the rest of their lives in a lunar prison colony. Olivia nodded. "Good. But what about their Xantharian allies?" Krez made a clicking sound of satisfaction. "They face the Queen's justice tomorrow. The evidence was overwhelming, even their hive councils couldn't protect them. The alliance had faced challenges in the months following the Earth visit. Gilar had made 2 more attempts to claim the throne. But without her human corporate backers, her support had dwindled. Many of her followers had abandoned her cause. Seeing the benefits the alliance brought to both worlds, the purists remained a threat. But their ideology was losing appeal as ordinary Xantharians witnessed the advantages of cooperation with humans. Medical technologies from Earth had cured diseases that had plagued Xantharians for generations, while Xantharian agricultural techniques were helping to restore damaged ecosystems on human colony world. Olivia had continued as royal protector, but her role had evolved. She now served as both security chief and advisor, helping Queen Xylara navigate the complex relationship with humanity. Ambassador Kim approached them carrying a data tablet. "The new exchange program is ready for approval," she announced. "We have over 2,000 human and Xantharian applicants for the first year." Krez examined the list. "Impressive. Many of these Xantharians are from traditionally conservative hives." Kim smiled. "The success of our joint ventures has changed many minds. The breakthrough in atmospheric processing alone has made believers of the skeptics. The process Olivia had first used to save the Queen had led to revolutionary advances in environmental technology. The combined approach of human intuition and Xantharian precision had created systems that could repair damaged atmospheres on colonized worlds." A young Xantharian assistant hurried toward them. "Royal Protector, the Queen requests your presence in the Grand Chamber immediately." Olivia and Krez exchanged glances. Such an urgent summons was unusual. They made their way quickly to the royal palace, where guards ushered them into the Queen's private audience chamber. Queen Xylara was not alone. Standing before her was a Xantharian female with the distinctive markings of royal lineage. Gilar. Olivia tensed her hand, moving instinctively toward her weapon, but the Queen raised a limb in a calming gesture. "My sister has come to talk, not to fight." Gilar turned to face them. her posture submissive in a way Olivia had never seen before. "I have been wrong," she said, her translator conveying genuine emotion. "Believed our traditions were under threat, that cooperation with humans would weaken our species." Olivia remained cautious. "What changed your mind?" Gillard gestured to a young Xantharian standing nearby. "This is my offspring, Valex. She has been ill since hatching with a respiratory condition our healers could not treat." The name was familiar to Olivia. Valex, like the Xantharian medical officer who had helped save the Queen. "I named her after the royal physician," Gillard explained, hoping it would bring her strength, but her condition worsened until I feared for her life. Then I learned of the new treatment developed through the human-Xantharian medical exchange. Olivia understood the treatment, used modified versions of the same compounds she had first improvised to save the Queen. Could not let my offspring die because of my pride. Gillard continued. The human doctors worked alongside our healers. They saved her when our traditions could not. I can no longer oppose what clearly benefits our people. Queen Xylera moved forward, her hovering platform bringing her face to face with her sister. "You sought my throne, you endangered our people." Gillard lowered all four of her eyes. "I did, and I will accept whatever punishment you decree." The Queen was silent for a long moment, then spoke. "I do not seek revenge, sister, I seek unity. Our people have suffered enough from division." The Queen's decision shocked many. She offered Gillard amnesty in exchange for her public support of the alliance and her renunciation of any claim to the throne. Gillard would serve as an envoy to distant Xantharian colonies, helping to spread the benefits of the alliance. Not everyone approved of the Queen's mercy. Some humans and Xantharians believed Gillard deserved punishment for her actions. But Xylera understood that reconciliation would strengthen the alliance far more than retribution. 1 month later, Olivia stood on the ceremonial platform as Queen Xylera and Secretary Foster signed the formal alliance treaty establishing a joint council to govern relations between their species. The ceremony was broadcast throughout both civilizations. As royal protector, Olivia had a prominent role in the proceedings. She, who had once been a simple guard, now stood as a symbol of what cooperation could achieve. After the ceremony, she found a quiet moment alone on a balcony overlooking the capital city. With its blend of ancient hive structures and new buildings designed for both species, Commander Craze found her there. "Did you ever imagine this?" he asked, "when you first rushed into the Queen's chamber that day?" Olivia shook her head. "I was just doing my job. I never thought it would lead to all this." Krez made the Xantharian gesture of amusement, a subtle clicking of his mandibles. "The Queen's historians are already writing the tale. They call it the beginning of the Great Alliance." A soft voice interrupted them. Michelle Rivers, the former intelligence officer who had provided the crucial information about Terrigenesis, stood in the doorway. Rivers smiled at Olivia's surprise. "Secretary Foster asked me to join the new Security Council. She explained my experience with both species makes me valuable, or so she claims." Olivia welcomed her. The alliance needed people who understood both worlds, who could see threats and opportunities others might miss. As the three of them looked out over the city, Rivers spoke quietly. "My grandchildren will grow up in a different world than the one I knew. They want to have to choose between their human and Xantharian heritage." The success of the alliance had inspired other species to seek closer ties with both humans and Xantharians. A new era of cooperation was beginning throughout known space. Queen Xylera joined them on the balcony, her guards keeping a respectful distance. "Royal Protector," she said, "I have a new assignment for you." Olivia turned curious. "What would you ask of me?" "Your Majesty." The Queen gestured toward the stars beyond the planet. "I am establishing an alliance exploration fleet, ships crewed by both our species seeking new worlds and new civilizations. I want you to command the flagship." Olivia was stunned. Such a position had never been offered to a human before. "I am honored, Your Majesty, but I am not a ship commander." The Queen made a sound that Olivia's translator interpreted as gentle amusement. "You were not a royal protector either until circumstances required it. Sometimes the most qualified person is the one who sees possibilities. Others do not." Commander Krez nodded in agreement. "The Xantharian Security Council supports this appointment, as does the Human Admiralty. They believe your unique perspective will be valuable in first contact situations." Rivers smiled the perfect choice, someone who understands both the caution needed for security and the openness needed for diplomacy. Olivia looked out at the stars, considering the offer it would mean leaving the familiar role she had created for herself. But perhaps that was the point. The Alliance would need pioneers, those willing to forge new paths. "I accept your majesty," she said finally. 2 months later, Olivia stood on the bridge of the Alliance vessel Harmony. The first ship designed and built through joint human and Xantharian efforts, her crew was evenly divided between species, each bringing their unique strengths and perspectives. As the ship prepared to depart, Commander Krez, now her first officer, reported all systems ready. Captain, Olivia took her place in the command chair, conscious of the history they were making with each passing day. The Alliance grew stronger, as both species learned from each other, finding strength in their differences. Captain Martinez, Commander Krez said formally, "The crew awaits your order." Olivia looked at the view screen showing their home planets, both visible from their position at the edge of the system, both now working together thanks to a chance encounter. A collapsed queen and a human guard who noticed what others had missed. "Take us out." "Commander," she said, course heading Galactic East, maximum sustainable speed as the Harmony accelerated into the darkness between stars. Olivia thought about the journey that had brought her here. Sometimes the most important discoveries happened by accident, and sometimes the greatest changes began with the smallest actions. She had simply been doing her job that day, rushing into the Queen's chamber. But that one moment had changed the course of 2 civilizations, proving that cooperation could achieve what neither species could accomplish alone.